Good morning. My name is Thomas Fremont, and today we're going to talk about the market analysis for your business plan. In particular, we're going to talk about the supply and demand for ABA services. This is a small part of your business plan, but it's a very important part to your business plan. It's important to have the numbers and the calculations and the statistics so that you can know how big your market is and the number of people you're trying to reach out to and understand your market share. But it's also good for investors or for funding, if you're looking for funding, to know that you're in a good business. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by talking about calculating the demand, and that is determining the number of children who have autism who need ABA services in your area. Then we're talking about calculating the supply, and the supply is the number of BCBAs in your area and the caseloads that they can hold so you can know the number of children that they can serve. And then we'll compare the two so that you have an analysis of your supply versus demand. And then we're going to talk about payer objections. Payers, such as insurance companies, come to you and say, no, we have too many providers already. What you can say in response to that. So starting off looking at the demand and how you calculate the demand. The first thing you're going to do is determine how many people are in your region. The U.S. Census Bureau has facts all about the number of people in your area and the number of children in your area. So when you click on that link, it brings you to this page, and it starts off with the United States and lists the total population. And then lower down the table, it gives you the persons under the age of 18 years old. But notice that is a percentage. It doesn't give you an actual number. You can break it down by state, county, city, town, or zip code. It's normally good to do a county, Fauquier County, Virginia, because that's about a 30-minute radius. And that's a comfortable area for you to work with. If you're looking to cover multiple counties or multiple regions, you can just add them all together. So Fauquier County, this is where our main headquarters is located, has 71,000 people, and 23% of those are under the age of 18. Once you determine the total population, you want to determine the percentage of people under the age of 18, which we showed you, and then you're going to multiply those two numbers and then divide that by 54. We're going to divide that by 54 because the CDC reports that 1 in 54 children are diagnosed with autism. And so that will give you an idea about the number of children who have autism in your area. For an example here, we just looked at the total United States, and that there's 328 million people in the United States, 22% of which are under the age of 18, which provides us 73 million children under the age of 18. And if you divide that by 54, you come up with 1.3 million children, roughly, are diagnosed with autism in the United States. When it comes to your specific region, you can be much more specific, much more narrow, but that's just an example. Now we need to calculate the supply. The supply is the first step is to determine the number of BCBAs in your region. BACB lists all the BCBAs that exist in the United States and it has a search option. So when you come to this page, you're doing a general search. You want BCBAs or BCBADs. You want the active ones. Right now we have the United States, or we can select a territory. We'll just choose Virginia. This can search by postal code and give you a radius. This can search by city and give you a radius. We're going to look at the country. We're going to look at the state of Virginia. And I'm going to do a postal code. That's Warrenton, Virginia. And we're going to do about a 25-mile radius around here. Do a search. You can choose the number of entries that it shows, but really we're just looking for a bottom line. How many are there? And it says there are 167 total results for your search. So that means we have 167 BCBAs who have an active certificate within a 25-mile radius of my zip code. So when I go back here, I can multiply that number by 15. The reason we multiply that by 15 is because the BACB recommends that a single BCBA oversee a caseload of 15 children. If he has a BCABA, that's an assistant behavior analyst working with them, that number increases. But for our conservative estimations, we're just multiplying it by 15. And that's still a high number for the number of cases a BCBA should be supervising according to the BACB. So looking at this next example, the total number of BCBAs within the United States is 40,000. And then that means the possible number of children that they're able to see or their caseload is 605,000. So when you compare the supply versus the demand, you break down into these charts. You're able to see that there's about 45% of children are able to be covered by BCBAs, and 55% of children who are diagnosed with autism are not able to receive ABA services. Now, Is this number fully accurate? It's a fair estimation. However, you have to take into account the number of BCBAs who may have an active certificate but are not doing in-home ABA or working in a clinic. There are many BCBAs who are in the school system. There are many BCBAs who are professors working at the university level, or organizational behavior management or business consultants, or just get out of doing ABA as a whole. So this number is really conservative and not entirely accurate. There's plenty of variables to consider. 45% of the kids are able to get services. That's a huge amount of children who are not being provided for. And anyone who's looking to invest in this will see that. So even considering that statistic, there are objections that you'll receive from different payers or insurance companies. They could say that they're going to deny your credential because there's a lack of demand. That may or may not be accurate. We've actually encountered this in a couple different states, and we're able to overcome that by, one, having the clients call the payers or the insurance company directly. We have to realize that the clients are the ones who are actually paying the insurance companies, not us as providers. So when the client calls, it's much more influential than when the provider calls. When the clients call, they will need supporting data, however. So to have a number of providers within the region, what different insurances that those providers accept, how long those wait lists are all very helpful things to mention when they call and talk to the actual insurance or the payer. And then if they have your information on hand and they say this person is available to accept me, then that payer is much more likely to expedite your credentialing packet. Here's a script, you could say, for a parent who's going to give a call, and that just goes over some of the details that we mentioned ahead of time. So that covers the market analysis and talking about the supply and demand for ABA services in your area. If you have any questions, please feel free to send a support ticket or reach out and call us. Thanks. Bye-bye.